This is nScreenNoise. My name is Colin Dixon, founder and chief analyst at nScreen Media, and today is October 8th, 2020. I'm going to spend some time handicapping how the top 4 SVOD services have been doing over the last quarter. And I'm going to start by looking at subscribers. And well, there it's pretty clear who the leader is. Netflix continues to be number one with 73 million US and Canada subscribers. That's about 66 million in the US. Hulu probably second, we can't say for sure, but Hulu has 33 million according to Disney's last quarter. And the reason we can't say for certain is we're not exactly sure about how many subscribers Disney Plus has. They say they have 61 million worldwide subscribers in the last quarter. Maybe half of those are in the US, so it's pretty close to Hulu, but by now maybe there are more Hulu than Hulu subscribers. Amazon Prime Video, again, very difficult to say. We do know there are 112 million Prime members in the US, and all of those have access to Prime Video, but we really don't know for sure how many are using Prime Video. And so it's really not fair to compare Prime Video subscribers with Netflix, Hulu, and Disney Plus, because it's not the primary reason people subscribe to the Prime service. They do it for shopping. But what we can say is tens of millions of people are using these services. Hub Entertainment Research says 73% have of at least one of the big 4. That's 73% of TV viewers with broadband. 10% of them have all 4. And John Geigengack, who is a principal at Hub Research, he joined me in my Let's Do Lunch live webcast on Monday, available for you can watch it on demand from the Digital Media Wire website. He told me that the actual number of people with a service that do not have Netflix is actually very small. So Netflix still clearly dominating there. But now let's take a look at usage, and for that we're going to turn to RealGood. RealGood is a guide for internet TV viewing, and they have about 2 million users. People can find things to watch in that and vector off to the app and watch it. So RealGood actually can see what we're watching, or what at least their users are watching, pretty well. And as you can see from this RealGood chart, Netflix actually dominates the streaming activity inside of RealGood. 25% of streaming continues to go to that platform, but that's down a lot from the last quarter. Amazon is up a tad at 21%, Hulu 15%, down a lot from last quarter as well. 9% for Hbo Max, which is up a lot, and 6% for Disney Plus, which is flat. So why did Netflix and Hulu lose share? Did they screw up? Well, I don't think they screwed up. I think they suffered a big impact from the introduction of Peacock and Hbo Max in Q3. So let's talk about that for a second. Hbo Max, well, 9% of streaming is now coming through Hbo Max, and that's pretty good performance. I think HBO is doing a great job at getting HBO Now subscribers to move to Hbo Max, and maybe getting some people out of Amazon who subscribed inside of Amazon channels to HBO to actually switch to Hbo Max. Peacock, well, Peacock Premium, according to RealGood, didn't do well enough to be in the top 5 and reported here, but Peacock Free, which of course is not an SVOD service, that is doing great. 50 million registered users, and RealGood says it accounted for a lot of streaming activity in Q2. And this is great performance for both of these services. Neither of them appear on the top streaming connected TV platform, Roku and Fire TV. At least they didn't during Q2 and Q3. Peacock now actually does appear on Roku, still not on Fire TV. So maybe Roku and Amazon don't have quite the influence over connected TV that we thought. That's a great performance from both of those, while not being on those top streaming platforms. So let's talk a little bit about Netflix and Hulu. As I said, both of them lost a lot of market share, and I have a feeling that they lost that streaming market share because of the influence of Hbo Max and Peacock. It could have been worse, particularly for Netflix. Netflix continues to pile on the new content, and it's doing pretty well. Project Power and Enola Holmes were the top streamed premium movies last week. So they are still attracting a lot of viewers with great content like that. Hulu could be suffering because of the lack of the new TV content, the fall season, very few scripted shows, a lot of unscripted shows coming into Hulu. So Hulu really having to rely on all of the content that it produces itself. So the big question is, how did Amazon Prime Video manage to increase its usage when Netflix and Hulu declined? Particularly when you think that Amazon Prime Video doesn't produce nearly as many as originals as Netflix, and Hulu, of course, has got a lot of influx of new content from TV, which greatly outstrips the amount of new content inside of Amazon. So how did it pull it off? Well, I think there's one big reason for this happening. As I mentioned, Prime members generally don't join for Amazon Prime Video, and I think a lot of Prime members don't use Prime Video or only use it very lightly. Looking at usage in the past, it's always been very light in comparison with other services. I think in Q2 and Q3, when people had a lot more time because they were stuck at home, they were looking for new content, and that's when they began to use Prime Video a lot more. After all, they were already paying for Prime, so it was a free benefit. So that's how I think it managed to increase streaming usage when Netflix and Hulu fell. Another big question is why Disney Plus didn't increase its share of streaming. After all, it is continuing to grow, and it's introduced forcing functions to get more people to subscribe. For example, Mulan, you had to be a Disney Plus subscriber to have the privilege of spending $30 to rent Mulan in the last month. So that must have drawn a lot of new subscribers in who are anxious for new content. Hamilton was a big smash inside the service, and that probably drew in a whole bunch of new subscribers as well. So why isn't the streaming share growing? Well, I have a feeling that Disney is really suffering here from the C-19 shutdown, just like Hulu is suffering. There just isn't a lot of new content coming into the service, so it's the old library content that is drawing people in, and many of those people have already subscribed and are probably pretty tired of watching those old movies by now. Now, Mandalorian 2, which comes out October 30th, will help a little bit, but that is not enough. There has to be a lot more new content inside of Disney Plus to really get them back up in the streaming rankings, I think. So what am I expecting for Q4? Well, I think Hulu and Netflix, they'll increase their share. Netflix is continuing to pile in new content and shows no sign of being impacted by COVID-19 greatly. And Hulu will benefit from the influx of non-scripted in television, which will come into Hulu as well. So as another effect that will improve Netflix and Hulu's performance, of course, is Hbo Max and Peacock both gave a whole new set of content for people to watch in Q3, and I have a feeling that they will have exhausted a lot of the things that they wanted to see by Q4 by now, and a lot of people will return to Hulu and Netflix for new stuff to watch in this quarter. So watch for Hbo Max streaming share to moderate in Real Good's charts if they put them out in Q4. Now, if you've enjoyed this analysis, why don't you help make nScreen Media better? I have a very short survey, no more than 2 minutes. I'll include a link for it at the bottom. It's just asking you about how you interact with us, and it'll help us make the service better. So why don't you click on that link that's below this video and fill out that survey. This has been Colin Dixon with nScreen Media. We'll see you again next time.